Hi everyone, my name is Emily Jacques. I'm a designer at Livefront, and this is Character Development, Bringing Your App Mascot to Life. Today, we'll talk about the mascot design process and some key considerations you'll want to keep in mind if you're considering bringing a new mascot into the world. When we talk about app mascots, we can think of them as the digital equivalent to the mascots of sport that we know and love. Both are often anthropomorphized characters who use their unique personalities to engage people, make connections, and embody a specific personality aspect of the brand that they represent. One of the most infamous digital mascots is Microsoft's Clippy, who most people found to be noisy and obnoxious, but since Clippy left us in 2007, other product mascots have had huge success in software across the digital landscape. Sometimes mascots like GitHub's Octocat and MailChimp's Freddy play a more static role. They add an additional layer of personality to their product and reinforce the brand's tone and values just by being visible on screen. Other times, mascots like Duolingo's Duo the Owl go one step further and become a feature all on their own. The character prompts interactions directly with the user to move them through tasks and offer guidance, support, and motivation. The character prompts interactions directly with the user to move them through tasks and offer guidance, support, and motivation. From these examples, it's clear that a mascot can add a lot of value to your product, but the design and development process can feel really daunting, and there's not a prescribed playbook for how to create an effective product mascot. But if you stick with me for the next few minutes, I'll share some of the key considerations and activities we did here at Livefront in a recent project with Pearson GED that helped us bring Sid, the new GED mascot, to life. In this project, GED, the company behind the high school equivalency test of the same name, partnered with Livefront to create a mobile app that would support learners preparing for their GED test. During our initial research, we heard from learners that preparing for the test felt really lonely and intimidating, and we recognized that implementing a mascot could provide the personal support learners needed. The first thing we did, and the first thing I would recommend any product team do, was take a hard look at whether doing the work to bring a mascot to life was going to be worthwhile for our product. You should be able to define, why do we need a mascot? What value will it add to our product, to our business, and what role will the mascot serve in the product itself? Will they be a more static mascot or interact with users directly as a feature? All of this will help to set the guardrails that will guide how your mascot takes shape. For GED, we discovered that by making our mascot a feature, we could make the test more approachable and provide direct support and guidance to learners. From a business perspective, the mascot would also add a unique and recognizable element to GED's brand. After you've decided it's time to bring a mascot into the world and what their purpose will be there, you'll want to discuss with your team what kind of personality best matches up with this purpose. You might want to explore questions like, does the character speak, or do they communicate with expressions and body language? Is your character sassy like Duo, pragmatic like Clippy? What are their traits? In the case of GED, our character needed to evoke expertise without being bossy and convey a sense of fun and lightheartedness while staying empathetic to the challenges of learners. So we built Sid's personality around the foundational idea that they're a member of the GED advising team. Finally, with purpose and personality set, you can start to hone in on the physical appearance that will embody all of these traits. The way a character looks can say a lot about who they are without them needing to say anything at all. The particulars of shape, color, etc. will depend on each character and each product, but common to all mascot designs, there's a few things to consider. First, give your character enough to go on. By this, I mean you want to make sure your character has enough elements and variations in the design to account for all of the expressions, positions, and motions that will make them feel rich and full. Eyebrows make a big difference. Second, plan ahead for animations. Even if they're way down the roadmap for your team, most animation tools have limitations that you'll want to consider. For example, Lottie by Airbnb doesn't support merged paths when you're creating an animation for iOS, so you'll want to design for that constraint from the beginning to avoid having to rework everything later on. Lastly, consider where your character will actually appear in your product. The GED mascot appears at full screen all the way down to icon size. Small details will get lost at small sizes, so think about keeping your design minimal and testing at different sizes as you go. Speaking of testing, through every step of the mascot development process, it's crucial to test your mascots with users. The character will only be successful if it's making tasks easier or more delightful for your users, rather than adding noise or annoying them. So ask them early and ask them often what they think, even from the first iterations of your character design. This brings us to our final consideration for today. Now that you've had the idea, designed the mascot, proven users love it, how can you ensure that your character is implemented correctly and can continue to grow and mature along with your product? The most effective way for us to set the GED team up for success was to codify all of the elements of the SID mascot into a clearly documented and organized design system that can grow with the team and the product over time. Similarly to a design system for an app or website, you can break a character down into their atoms and molecules so they can be easily and quickly rearranged into new variations as needs arise. As an extra bonus, thinking about your character in this way helps a lot with planning for how they'll be animated in the future. After all this preparation, the next time the team needs a new variation of SID, maybe we want to add a moment of celebration for the user completing one of their goals. Any designer on the team can go into the file, read the documentation, and create the dance and SID they need. Character development, we love to see it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope these tips and considerations have given you a helpful overview of the mascot design process and maybe even inspired you to explore adding a mascot to a product you're working on. Thank you so much.